In March 2025, at this time, we will have Councilman Glavin say the prayer, followed by Mr. Bob Silvestro, who will lead us in the pledge. Councilman Glavin.
Heavenly Father, as we gather here today for the Biloxi City Council meeting, we seek your guidance and wisdom. May our discussions be rooted in understanding and compassion, fostering a community where all feel safe and valued. Help us lead with courage and to build a city without fear, where hope thrives and every voice is heard. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Glavin. Thank you, Mr. Silvestro. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules
So moved.
I'll second.
by Mr. Lawrence and a second by Mr. Guines. Any discussion? All in favor of suspending the rules? That's a 6-0 vote for the clerk. The clerk would note that Ms. Newman's not arrived yet. All right, the clerk would read the revisions, please.
To the consent agenda, we're substituting item 5K, resolution amending the budget for the police department to pay contractual obligations.
All right.
Agenda as amended.
All right,
second
there's a
again.
motion and a second, a motion by Mr. Lawrence to approve the amended agenda, and a second by Mr. Guines. Any discussion? All in favor? And that's approved on a 6-0 vote. All right, Mr. O'Gillich.
Great pleasure for me to welcome everyone to our society. Start this with a little music, and wind up with reception and welcome our Grand Marshal and colleague in just a moment. We're going to show up to the lady.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, please use the mic
I'm
because
looking for a
the
cord.
world is watching on the video.
Don't make me any more nervous. Mr. Mayor and members of the Biloxi City Council, on behalf of the Hibernia Irish Society, it is with great pleasure that I announce our 2025 Grand Marshal, Colleen, and St. Patrick. Our Grand Marshal is Justice David Ishii. Our Colleen is Maggie Eves Mosher, sidebar, the niece of Dr. Tisdale. And I would like to say that you probably don't see any resemblance because she's probably one of the few family members that still has their hair. I know he could take a joke. Our St. Patrick is David Pennell, who reigns from not Britain or Ireland, but from our very own Biloxi.
Well, thank you, and it's a great pleasure for me, especially as Grand Marshal in 2018. I'm officially Fofo O'Gillich tonight. Whereas this proclamation, for 4 centuries, Americans of Irish heritage have contributed their lives and fortunes to their adopted country. And whereas the Irish were the largest European group to inhabit the 13 colonies in the 75 years leading up to the 1776 revolution and played a significant role in the war for independence. Irish Americans have excelled in every facet of life, including education, science, medicine, the arts, and politics. The Hibernian Marching Society of Mississippi was formed to foster, promote, and perpetuate Irish traditions, heritage, and fellowship of Irish and Irish American descendants along the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and is a viable ethnic organization that contributes energy, funds to enhance the quality of life. Now, therefore, I, Fofo O'Gillich, Mayor of the City of Biloxi, hereby proclaim the month of March 2025 as Irish Heritage Month. Congratulations to the Irish and to Hibernia.
Yes, it may be the Grand Marshal and the Colleen and Mr. Pennell. I can't remember the title, David. You may have comments. You're certainly welcome to make it this time.
Thank you all for having us here tonight. We appreciate it. It's a great day to celebrate the diverse part of the diversity of the coast, and everywhere we go, all the different ethnic groups that have come here and made up this great place that we call home. I have a few little gifts for y'all in this bag, very traditional Irish, and St. Patrick assures me he has removed all alcohol from it. Just as he ran the snakes out of Ireland, this is totally legal in the City Hall of Biloxi. Well, they may change when we get out of the building. The blessing was only for this moment. So with that, I'll turn it over to our lovely Colleen.
Yeah, I just want to say, I really appreciate this honor. I really appreciate to represent the city of Biloxi during Irish Heritage Month. And I'm glad to actually get to talk to my uncle on the city council for once. But yeah, I also have a few thankful gifts for you guys as well. And just want to say thank you guys. You want any words?
Got a little blessing, if I could do that. It's just a short little thing I made up. May your heart be light and happy. May your smile be big and wide, and may your pockets always have a coin or two inside. That's it.
Thank you. I just have one Irish blessing before we recess to partake of the refreshments here for about 10 minutes. May those who love us, and those who don't love us, may God turn their hearts. And if he can't turn their hearts, may he turn their ankles, so we will know them by their limping. We're recessed for 10 minutes. I'm not a plagiarizer.
Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations, man. Yep.
Yes, absolutely. Ogans, absolutely.
Yeah, we're gonna come and get bunt. That's Felix right there. He went to get punt. Good seeing you, man. How you been? That's right. Yeah. Been having trouble? Everybody, we hanging in, everything good. Yeah. Look, hey, we're doing all right. We're old, but we're getting it.
I'm just saying, that's how we're doing things.
All right. Thank you.
you want a cookie or anything,
You gonna handle the Broadwater tonight? Gonna handle the Broadwater? Brought it up last week when you weren't there. Took for a long time. Y'all got all these streets. Streets of that thing, it's gonna be yeah, they cleared a lot of things. I mean, the thing about clearing it, I don't know. That bothers me. But they could do that without any trouble.
I don't know any jokes. He knows them all. Yeah, no, that's good. Represent. Thank you. Congratulations.
Take care, man. All right.
He's a Supreme Court justice for the state. I heard justice, so I thought justice of the peace. He's one of the 9 Supreme Court justices for the state. Lives in Gulfport. Nice guy. Man. 1 minute. 1 minute. John. 1 minute. All right, we'll now reconvene and conduct the city's business. So again, if you would, please silence your phones or put them on vibrate. And if you need to continue a conversation, the hall would be the perfect place for it. All right, and Mayor, where's the mayor?
We have a toast at the end of the meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I don't know if, I
the
don't think
meeting,
you
I'm
were
told.
done with your report. I think we have something to spread on the minutes. So it's all yours. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Last of my report, would ask the city council to spread the expenses of the Biloxi travel expense card to the minutes. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We don't have any departmental reports, so we'll go to the council reports. Mr. Lawrence?
Yeah, I got a couple of things to bring up. This week, Friday night, they have the senior games open. And we're talking to Sherry Bell, and she was telling Felix and I, we got over 700 people, got 200-something in pickleball. Said it's the biggest crowd they ever had. So it's great for the city of Biloxi. They come in, they love doing these things, and in Biloxi, they love the event. They love the atmosphere down here, so that's a good thing for the city of Biloxi. The other thing we have, several complaints on the Mardi Gras parade, the route they took. They wondered if any way y'all would consider going back the same way that we was before. And the reason was, we didn't want to be on Highway 90, but you dumped the whole parade on Highway 90. Just didn't make any sense. The parade ended at Highway 90 in Porter, so everybody had to use Highway 90 to get back. So why don't you just send them back up Highway 90 like they was, and they wound up where they started from? It just makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of people called, want to know why we did it, why they changed it. I said, oh, they're just trying to some safety was the main reason. But it didn't make a whole lot of sense when you dump it back on Highway 90 anyway, the whole parade. So I think y'all need to reconsider. They'd have to bring that up next year and go back to the original route. We never crossed the railroad track anyway. That was Neptune did that, but they don't have to do that either.
Well,
So
let me
yeah.
respond. I think we had an after-action plan on Friday, and I think some things were brought to the attention. And
Mr. Mayor, if you would
Oh, I'm
bring the
sorry.
mic a little closer. Thank you, sir.
We looked at, the comments and some of the things, the good things that happened, which I think were stronger than the bad things that happened. I think we had one arrest, didn't we? For the whole, one arrest doing Fat Tuesday, and that was for shoplifting. Again, we shortened the parade route by 1/2 a mile, and there are mixed comments. Good, and short was popped up, but I think we're going to evaluate that, and we had an alternate, thing to consider. But right now, we'll do an in-depth dig in and figure out where we need to be.
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, you cut off Randall down to the beach, to Porter, so there was a lot of, the other problem people had, they said, there's so much no parking. If you expect 80, 90,000 people to come to your city, where do you think you're gonna park at? I know we try to move off the railroad track, to try to move off, stuff like that, but man, you bring that many people in town, they gotta park somewhere. If you want people to have a good time at the parade, I mean, that's just the hard thing, they're getting out of stuff. I mean, even Neptune parade, the traffic, of course, we got a bridge and a bridge. It's hard to get out of the city of Biloxi anyway, when you had that many people coming in. But I mean, a lot of them complained, they said they had to park so far from the railroad track, they had to walk, especially with kids, walk back that distance.
We'll look at it.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just something I need to bring up. Let's see. Oh, I was gonna ask you on the comfort plate and Jenkins lanes. Have you still looking at paving them? I mean, we've
We've
got
looked at it, Christie. I think
people want to
we've
build
looked at-
houses.
We've looked at it.
Yeah.
I think that the 7-1 kind of is going up pretty good on it right now. We'll look at it.
And we talking about somebody that want to build 4 homes right there.
What's that, about 400 feet, something like that? Okay.
Right, 'cause I mean, it's something that's slowing down project of people building homes. They built them ones right there on Harvard, they sold them already. You know, so I mean, it is, and the guy with Jenkins, that guy Mark, has done a
Maybe a
great
lot of oak
job.
There might be a lot of oak trees on that path, though.
Say again?
I'm just kidding. No, I'm just joking.
All right, that's it.
Thank you, Mr.
Everybody have a
Lawrence.
great St. Patrick Day.
Thank you, Mr. Earl Lawrence. Mr. O'Gines?
It's old
That's
Lawrence
the
a
one
bit.
thing. Yeah, old Lawrence.
Lawrence a bit. You gotta be a Yugoslav too, you know?
Yes, sir. Okay, George already mentioned senior games. Mardi Gras, great, safe, and I believe we got some lessons learned as far as the parade route. So thank you, Mayor, for addressing that. St. Patrick's Day, I think some of the council members and the chief, are we going to be doing a race? We're going to get out there and do a big head race. Yeah, so come on out and check that fun out on that. And I've already got with the chief on some issues that I've had, so thank you, chief, on that. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. O'Gines. Ms. O'Newman?
Yes, can I get an update on the Broadwater property, specifically the west side? Everyone wants to know what's going on. And also, Jerry, the methadone clinic, please.
So we met with CSX last week. CSX, their deadline, I think, is tomorrow for everybody to be off the property, which we had already set another deadline before that deadline. So everybody will be gone from the property, and we'll diligently work to make sure they're gone. He told us that if the property owner did not clean the property, that CSX would do it, but he also told us that it wouldn't be quick, that the hoops that he has to jump through are time-consuming. I think the guy was very honest with us.
We know how government is.
Yeah, he didn't sugarcoat it. He said it's going to be a while. But he said if the property owner doesn't clean it, CSX will clean it. And that's where we're at right now.
Okay. But we have permission to get them off the property, right?
We do.
So
We
we're
do.
actively doing that anyway?
We've been actively doing that, even before their deadline of tomorrow.
Perfect, okay. And what's going on with the west side of the Broadwater property? When is it gonna be clear?
Yeah, that I can't.
Not the
tell you.
CXX property,
I can make that call and ask, when they plan on continuing, but I can't give you an answer on that right now.
How about you?
Chief, I spoke to
Mr. Leonard, if you would, Mr. Leonard, just pull it closer. Thank you, sir.
I spoke to Mrs. Ford. They've got a piece of equipment that is being repaired, and as soon as that's repaired, they plan to start working on that area, clearing that area to the west of Iris.
Oh, also, y'all did a great job cleaning up the Broadwater property on Pass Road where the litter was atrocious, but it's starting to get back that way again. So again, if we can clean it up, charge the property owner, do whatever we gotta do. It's awful. And Bob put a trash can there, but apparently they're not using it. Thank you, Chief, I appreciate you. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Ms. Newman.
Oh, sorry,
I'm
not yet.
sorry, go ahead. Continue.
Go ahead.
The methadone clinic, we're checking it every week, and they're following through with what they promised. The company they hired is keeping the property clean around the dumpster and everywhere else, so it's all good right now.
Okay. I just have a question too. I haven't heard recently, so I'm gonna check and make sure, but the methadone clinic has been making issues for the businesses around there. My brother used to work at AutoZone, and they had issues, majorly issues. So would that be a factor in, breaking the conditional use? Could we use that, or no?
I mean, that would be something difficult to prove. I'd need to know more detail about it where I could
Okay.
classify it as some type of a code violation, but we can talk after the meeting.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Jerry, Fofo, the latest thing with methadone is they lacing it with fentanyl. So that's the problem you're having here with the methadone, is what they're doing once they get it. And that's the hardest thing in the United States right now, is they're lacing the methadone with fentanyl. And that's pretty bad. So you better pay attention to that clinic.
Okay.
Close.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Mr. McGilvery.
Just one item. I just want to mention to Chief Miller that I had received several phone calls regarding the outstanding job that your troops did in both parades. And if you'd pass that on to them, I'd appreciate it. They said everything went smooth, and all the officers that they encountered were just tops. And I really appreciate that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. O'Glavin.
Thank you, Mr. O. President. First of all, what a great day for the unveiling of the new turf fields at the Sportsplex. The mayor was there. We had several council members that were there. But the thing that kind of endeared my heart was listening to a little 6, 7-year-old say, you know, I can't believe I'm playing on turf fields. I feel like a major leaguer. That was just great, just to hear that. But a great turnout. The fields were great. The excitement was really good, and I think most everyone, when they threw out a first pitch, for the most part, it was a strike. Got several things, if I could call Director Lebertod up here. The first one, and I know this has been on the radar for a little bit, we were waiting for some funding. I think some funding may be coming down the pike on in the back of Malpas Landing. There was a drainage situation there. Is it coming up the list?
Yes, it is. It's, as you know, been on a repair replace list for quite some time. It's now made it up to the top of the list. It's in the top 10 at this point.
Okay.
It's going to be our next major project. We have one going on off of Atkinson Road, some drainage work. When that's done, we'll, barring any emergencies, because they also do our emergency water and sewer work, but then they'll move over and do the Malpas Landing ditch.
All right, certainly. Thank you for that update. And then another big one, and I know I think the contract has been awarded for Brazier Bayou.
Yes.
For the dredging, around 318 or some change.
Correct.
So that's on the drawing board. Is there a commencement date for that, or are things
yet.
just?
Once it gets awarded tonight, Rachel will send out the contracts. They have 30 days to execute their contracts, get their bonds and all back to us. At that point, that's when we'll issue the notice to proceed date. So you're probably looking maybe 6 weeks or so from now. Of course, and I don't know what other projects they have lined up, so we may have to kind of work around what other projects they have going on right now, but it won't be much longer.
Okay, thank you for that. I know there could be some other canals that are kind of associated with this area, and I'm already trying to ask the powers to be up in Jackson if they would consider another stipend, if you will. Let's see, I just got a couple more here. Shawnowitz and Stacy Lane, I see them on the list. I'm assuming that's going to be maybe taking a little longer to get those roads. It seems to be lower.
They're on the paving list. So as soon as there's some restrictions about when we can pave around elections and things. So as soon as we get past elections, we have that paving list. We've got a little pot of money now, so I'll be getting with the mayor and kind of prioritizing those lists. I think I've got all of y'all's lists, all of y'all's streets on that list that y'all requested. At this point, it's just a matter of getting past elections and then getting to it.
Okay, and then last thing, I'd like to formally, if I could, charge the engineering department to do an assessment of some sidewalks along Brody Road, Brazier Road, and to encompass Lamy Street as well. Just an assessment to see what it would cost us. I know the Wool Market sidewalks, we were able to obtain a grant. That was a long-term. It's not going to be overnight. I understand that timeline process. It could be multiple years, but I need to get a starting point so I can start talking to some folks.
Okay.
Thank you, Director. That's all I have for you.
Thank you. Excuse me, go ahead.
Yeah, just a couple more. Gulf Coast Produce is, the owner lives in my ward, and she was just reaching out, Mayor, and wanting to see if y'all had some time to schedule an appointment with her, talk about some issues.
I do have Christy's telephone number. We've had discussed over the last week what the issues were, and just for the record, I think there's a strong case that she shouldn't be in the situation that's supposedly coming down the road.
Okay. So y'all got that teed up. Y'all got that teed up.
Yes.
Working through the process.
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. And then the last thing, received an email. It was pretty interesting email, included kind of a video, and it was talking about recycling. And I don't know if this applies to us or not, but it was making an argument that is recycling really worth it? What really goes through recycling? And I don't know if, and I'm assuming we do an assessment of the efficiency of our recycling. I don't know the answer to that, but if we need to, or if we already have that data, the question is it worth doing the recycling? Is it a true investment? Are we getting a return on that buck that it truly is sending recycling debris through that process?
Well, there's always an argument, but the utility authority is charged with that analysis, and you know, they, I think some of the biggest a major problem was the size of the recycle bin now within the utility authority. It was the size of the trash, you know, receptacle. It would certainly kick, but the percentages of recycling, people using recycling, whether it's the return or not, depending on where, how far, and how much you need to ship, is an ongoing thing. You know, Allen Lane, they, you know, they're on top of it, and they get a report at every meeting on the utilization of the tonnage that we pick up. Now, I don't have a detailed explanation of, you know.
Yeah, this video particularly focused on, are people truly putting the recyclable, or are they just putting other trash, and then it gets so mixed up with that effort that is it really worth it?
We've heard that also, you know, how much of the recycled material is usable, and that's a percentage that I've heard go up and down. But I'll see if we can get Alan or someone to come here and give us a report on what the latest status is. And I think, you know, Pensacola, and there's another location that we've been sending from, at least from Harrison County that way.
Mr. Leonard, Mr. Leonard, you were going to.
If the mayor would let me, I'll try this. We're running between 45 and 50% recycling, which is very good nationally. Our recycling goes to out of state, where it's sorted. I did an article in B News about 2 months ago that talked about, we actually followed a piece of material from the trash can to the recycling bin to the truck to all the way to Pensacola, to show that actually, because a lot of people that are in the 25-30% that's not recycling, they really believe that we just dump it all at the end of the trail and dump it together and don't actually do anything. But we followed some recycling material all the way through the system. Our recycling percentages are good compared to nationally. And the payback, we talk about the payback we get, is reduction in the tons of garbage going into the landfill. That's the real payback.
Okay.
Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Glavin?
No, that's it.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. O'Shoemaker. Did you make all that noise?
That was you. It was not me.
That's St. Patrick talking to
I just have a few things. I know the mayor and I discussed this recently, MDOT communication with the cities. I don't know if there's anything we can do, but, and I know they're a state agency, but when it comes to they're doing these huge projects that affect traffic, people going to work, kids going to school, school buses, and they don't really tell us anything. And I mean right down to the administration. You know, when they shut the roundabout down a couple months ago at night, I had 2 text messages from people I thought was a joke, honestly. But then apparently that had been put out on Facebook. And it's not at our end, it's that they're not telling the city what their plans are. And we're behind on everything. And at one point, they had 4 digital displays in 4 different areas of Ward 7, and they all had different information on it. And I've got a guy's name now, and you know, he's been good responding back to me, but they don't tell us anything ahead of time. And if we knew, of course, we could put it out on B News, the media could run it. I mean, we could put it on Facebook, on our pages that we have that people do look at a lot. So just a thought, I don't know if there's anything we can do, but
I think you and I talked a little bit about, there's a liaison for municipalities. Now, in addition to, I think, Billy Owen, who is who took Kelly Castleberry's, but there was an additional liaison for the municipalities that Brad White assigned to this area. We've had one meeting, I think, with him, but yeah, communications is the key thing.
It is, yes.
As far as that sign, it might have been the Russians the other night.
They all had something different for sure. Mayor, speaking of our Lighthouse Pier, I know it seems like that was discussed somewhat recent, but I don't recall.
Ongoing over and over again, and we've had this discussion, and we'll continue to have this discussion with our senators, as well as Ezell, about the iterations that we go through for not only the infrastructure problem, the Katrina, but also these so-called. They send us some letters, we send us some questions, we answer the questions, they send us some more questions. This has been going on for at least 3 years. Yeah. And I think there's a frustration right now, especially in D.C., with FEMA and how they act. And we're a prime example of how we've been dragged along since 2019. That's with the pier. But also since the escalation of the Katrina Recovery Project since 2015, and escalations and those kinds of things. But we're going to have some serious, and probably the week of the 7th, you might want to come along with us to D.C. the week
Please,
of
yes.
April the 7th, but Walt, I think we have a meeting with Warner Speed, who is the legislative control person here on next Wednesday. Thursday. So you're invited to that if anybody wants to come to that. But that's the subject.
So it's not us. It's we're waiting on the government and all the bureaucracy, I guess,
Well,
and red tape.
the bureaucracy we ran into is in Region 4. That's controlled as opposed to Region 6 in New Orleans. But there's a stack of obstacles that we've been running into, and literally, it's over and over again. So there's millions of dollars at stake.
Right.
And we're going to fight.
But that meeting next week may give us some insight on.
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely,
great.
definitely.
Thank you. 2 more things real quick. Police Department in Mardi Gras, 1 arrest. That's huge. That's great. That's saying something. So kudos to the troops for that. And I know I have to bring it up. I know I'm beating the dead horse here, but homeless. I got off the I-110 today at Division Street. In 2 different areas, there were 7 homeless people just kind of camped out. And I promise I'm not going to beat this dead horse. All I'm going to say is we've got to do something now. Summertime's coming. I think it's getting worse. And the longer we don't do anything, the worse it's going to be at the end. And again, I don't know the answer, but I think if a group of us can come together, a large group of just everybody, the county, the city, business owners, citizens, and everybody, I think we can hopefully figure out something to combat and help get these people houses and get them off the streets. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shoemaker.
Dr. Tisdale, real
Go ahead,
quick.
Mr. O'Gines.
Real quick, the IP, we got the trailers that are in there. They have the big convention. It's rolling great.
45 houses, I think they're.
Yes, it's big. I've
putting
been
together.
out there, huge. Just wanted to make a note that there were some of the people had some issues with not enough detour signs. So if we can get some detour signs out there to let them know, because some streets they can't go down, and they'll get down the street all the way and get to the gate and have to turn all the way back around. And we ran through a lot of issues with that during the Mardi Gras. So just few little detour signs. That's all.
All right, thank you. Several things. I want to remind everybody I have a Ward meeting, a Ward 5 meeting, 2 weeks from tonight. That's Tuesday, March 25th at 5:30 at the Donald Snyder Recreation Center on Pass Road. It's open to the public. We had also tabled discussion and action on the Parks and Recreation Commission and Beautification Commission pending a workshop. We've got 2 afternoon meetings coming up on the next 2 Tuesdays. Generally, we've had workshops before these meetings, maybe at 11 o'clock or 10:30, somewhere around in there. Did we want to look at our next meeting is the 18th? At the 18th or the 25th, we could set it for 10:30 or 11 o'clock. Any thoughts? Is there a preference? No. Thank you. After the regular meeting. If we do it after the regular meeting, I mean, generally those last 90 minutes, give or take. So it'll be a little longer, but if that works better for everybody, that's fine too. We've had a few after the regular meetings. Any preferences, any thoughts? So what if we did it this next Tuesday? That would be the 18th, immediately following that 1:30 meeting. Does that present a problem for anybody?
Has anybody put anything together to bring to us?
I have.
Having a workshop, not
I've
gonna
had-
be good unless we have some.
Well,
kind
we
of-
wanted to talk about the advantages and disadvantages, whether we want to reinstitute these commissions or not, and maybe we come up with something else. I put a few thoughts together. I'm happy to send folks what I've put together. Take me a few days to pull them together. But let's do this. If the afternoon works okay, next Tuesday, following the council meeting at 1:30, we'll have a workshop, and that'll be to discuss the Parks and Recreation Commission and the Beautification Commission. That's going to be March 18th, after the council meeting. All right. Next, there's a light pole down on the median on Highway 90. It's been there. My guess is probably for a couple of weeks. It's one of those big poles, and it's just west of Iberville. So if you're in the westbound lane, you'll pass it as soon as you go by Iberville. It'll be on your left. The road striping on Pass Road, I was coming back from the Greenwich Community Center Saturday night, and Pass Road from roughly Iberville to Jim Money is in need of some striping. A lot of that paint is just worn off. It's worse in some spots than others, but generally it just about all needs to be restriped, and it's worse when it rains in the evening. So if somebody could check into that, maybe get something scheduled. Also, one question for the city engineer, Christie, if you don't mind. And my question is on the Bay Vista water well and lines, do you know when we might see some movement out there in that neighborhood, maybe some equipment or?
We're
material?
scheduling the pre-con. Robert might have already scheduled it for this week. We talked about it yesterday. So the pre-con's going to be happening soon, so you ought to see, I would think in the very latest, the next month, you'll start seeing equipment out there. I figured we could do a neighborhood meeting maybe right before your ward meeting, since you'll already have people there, do a quick little.
Yeah, that's fine. If you'd like to do that, let me know.
I will.
And if we have to schedule that at 5 o'clock, I'm happy to do that. If somebody would just email me or text me the date and time of the pre-construction meeting.
Yeah, I will. I'll let
This
you know.
week, I'd like to sit in on that.
Sure,
All
absolutely.
right, thank you. That concludes my comments. Thank you all. All right, that brings us to the public agenda and citizens' comments. We'll set aside up to 45 minutes for citizens' comments. Each individual will have up to 3 minutes to address the council. I just want to point out, it's not a question and answer session. It's an opportunity to comment to the council or to the administration, any items or concerns that you have. If you exceed 3 minutes, you'll hear this sound. It's a pleasant sound. And then we'll ask the next person to come up. When you're recognized, please come up to the table. You have to pull the microphone close to you to be heard. And there's a sign-in sheet, so if you would, come up, sit down, sign in, your name and address, then state your name so that the council clerk can record your name accurately. And then as soon as you start speaking, she hits the timer over here, okay? All right, with that being said, is there anybody on my right, your left, that wishes to address the council? Anybody on my right, your left? Anybody on my left, your right? Mr. Silvestro.
How you doing? First of all, as far as the methadone clinic, there's a few business owners who are negatively impacted by it. They would like to speak to someone, but not in a public setting. Number two, as far as the Just this week, yesterday, we had 2 people come out of that woods right there and try and get their way into a single mom's home across. One of them was Looney Tune. The other one was a new face. We have numerous issues with people going on, problems there. It is proven that east of Iris, where it's been cleaned, we've had no problems. Now, I understand it's whatever the situation is, but we were just told. Now, if a neighbor gets a citation because their grass isn't cut, and they say, hey, by the way, my lawnmower's broke, that's forgiving. But if someone's a multimillionaire who owns a whole bunch of equipment and one of his tractors down, that's not my problem. It's time to clean that area up. I understand CSX, get a bulldozer, get in there. Yesterday, and the police do their job. As soon as they come in, they scatter. I counted 18, and there are 18 dredges are in there, not the best of the best. And it's a problem. They're negatively affecting our neighborhood. Some of them are very violent, no matter what anyone says. If the tree comes down, they'll go. Now, I understand, but if you're going to give a little old lady a ticket for not cutting her grass, I get it. But we're now saying, oh, we can't. They were moving that way with equipment. They were that close to finishing the job. Someone told them, you have a month. So it wasn't as if a tractor broke down. Maybe it did. It's time to clean that area up as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Silvestro. Don't forget to sign in. You may have already signed in. You know the drill. All right. Is there anybody on my right, your left, that wishes to address the council? All right, there's nobody on this side of the room. Okay, I'll focus on this side. Anybody on my left, your right? Yes, ma'am.
I will sign in. My name is Sheila Delaney, and I am visiting you here from New Orleans, but I'm actually from Minneapolis, Minnesota. I grew up there and did most of my career there. But I, first of all, feel very welcome in the celebration of Hibernian and Irish Americans. I am myself only Irish, so I feel it's a nice way to come into a room full of strangers. But I just came today to introduce myself and to share encouragement. My work is in homelessness, and I have a very specific approach, and it's very much a community-based approach. I have been part of a lot of investment in a lot of big projects that have been successful, but the reason that they have been successful is that, just as Councilmember Schumacher mentioned, people from different sectors, particularly those most impacted, both those who are experiencing homelessness and particularly businesses and neighbors who are also impacted, come together and develop solutions that are meeting the needs, the specific needs of every locality. And so I wanted to share with you that in 2020, we had just a proliferation of encampments. Visibility was very obvious, and we worked very closely to talk with people who were living in encampments about what they needed. And so through a variety of processes, it's Minnesota, it's a different environment. It was certainly a different environment in 2020, but it did involve investment, but the core of what we did had to do with community coming together. And so I wanted to introduce myself. My work, I'm not here for work, but my work is primarily in Minnesota, but I love bringing people together and being even a neutral facilitator about what we can do. We have, one of the facilities we created is filled with tiny homes, and I know you have some wonderful providers such as Back Bay Mission who are attempting to create temporary safe outdoor spaces. I was lucky enough to make a tour of the South. It's from Minnesota all the way down through the Southeast to look at what other cities are doing. Some are doing great, some I would never recommend, but I'm a resource, and I will leave my contact, and I would love to talk with you. I'm roughly an hour away, and I have time. And I just want to encourage you, because I've learned a lot about your community in a short amount of time, and you have such commitment. And it was so wonderful to see the celebration and the tight-knit nature of your togetherness and how you are working already, very frankly, to address hard issues. And I just want to offer you encouragement that this is something you can address as well. And if you need assistance, I'm here. So.
Thank you, Ms. Delaney. Anybody else on my left, your right, that wishes to address the council? Is there anybody in the room that wishes to address the council? All right, that will conclude citizens' comments, and we have nothing on the policy agenda. So that will bring us to the consent agenda.
I'll move it.
There's a
I'll
motion
second
by
it.
Mr. Lawrence and a second by Mr. Guines. All right, well, we'll go to questions at this point. Mr. Lawrence, any items?
Yeah, and Jay, I know are we buying another camera to read the license plates, and is that doing us any good? Is that helping the court system? We're losing a lot of money in the court system. Is this helping it any?
This is a different camera system. This has nothing to do with what they're doing in court. This actually reads the tag, lets us know if there's a stolen vehicle in town, or if there's a burglary or something, we can go back and look at the tag numbers in the vicinity of the burglary and try to piece things together there. It had nothing to do with the insurance cameras that.
It's
that we
totally
use.
different.
Totally different.
Okay. Well, now, I don't know if we can answer the questions on MN and O. It's all White Avenue. I know they're building a big covered box by the beach, behind the seawall. What's the size of the covers? I was reading all that, couldn't find it. Are they 60 inches? How big are they? They're handling 3 or 4
The
pipes.
outfalls, a combination of the outfalls, 4 to 1.
Right. I got a lot going to that box, so you're going to have some big covers in there.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head the diameter of the existing culverts, but it's going to be a pretty big box culvert to combine all 3 or 4, however many we're able to get in together into one.
Becomes one.
Yeah, 4.
becomes
So it's
one.
going to be a big box culvert.
Yeah. Are they coming out of Keesler also, or this is strictly out of the neighborhood?
No, this is
off
out
the
of the,
road.
that's right. Just off of Highway 90.
Okay.
Whatever's coming in off of Highway 90, we're going to pick it up from there.
And then they said they're going to have like a walking path. They're going to build that on top of that?
Yeah, because it's going to be kind of like a big sidewalk down the beach. So it's going to be kind of a feature for the beach too, so that it'll be kind of a boardwalk going down towards the water.
Okay. And this one here, I don't like at all. This biometric time clock. This is the thumbprint thing. I mean, we can't keep up with the people that come to work or don't go to work. Are we doing this all in the city or just one place?
Mr. Leonard, if you pull the mic a little closer, thank you, sir.
Right now, we don't have the staff at the visitor center on the time clock. They're on time clock, but they're not doing the biometric. This is a request from Jerry Creel. It's his department for another system to put everybody at the,
Just another camera.
another,
Facility.
We haven't had much, good.
Thank you, Mr. Creel.
All of the departments in the city are on this time clock where you have to actually put your fingerprint on it to show that you're reporting to work on time and that you're leaving on time.
So everybody in the city does this, or we got certain people do it?
That's correct, but there wasn't one ordered for the visitor center, and it opened the door for people to, leave work and call in and say, hey, just punch me out, when they weren't at work. So what this will do is resolve all of that, and it'll correct that problem. So.
But in the visit center, half the people are volunteers. They have to do that
It's
too?
contract people, mostly contract people.
Or just paid employees?
We have 4 paid employees over there, and we have 6 temps over there.
So you say we have this everywhere in the city, but it's only certain people have to do this?
No.
No.
Everybody.
Everybody in the city does it?
The time
You do that, Jerry?
No.
Okay.
The directors
So
don't.
we don't have everybody doing it?
He's exempt.
Yeah.
Doesn't check in.
Yeah.
All the,
I mean, if we had that much problem with our employees, we don't trust them that much, then what we need to do is get rid of them.
Well,
I mean,
there's an offset in that this does automatically some of the things that you have to do by paper in order to make a payroll. So that drops out of the system of in and out, lunch in and out. So there's some payback of not having to key in all this information about each employee at payroll time every 2 weeks.
All right. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. Mr. Guines, anything?
I have none.
Ms. Newman, anything? Mr. McGilvery? Mr.
Item
Glavin? Mr. Shoemaker? I just have one item. It's item A, the petty cash and change funds. I see that we're removing somebody, I can't remember which department it's in. Somebody's being removed from that list, but nobody's being added to the list. I'm assuming they have somebody already in that department or
decided they didn't need two people doing one person's job.
yeah, I don't know. Is that what it is?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Anyway, the individual's no longer being removed from that list. I'm just assuming if somebody has to provide some petty cash or a check, there's somebody in that department that's able to do that.
Petty cash is, when I last checked, we were counting their petty cash every quarter.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's not a ton of money. I'm just, if you need a reimbursement out of petty cash, it'd be nice to have somebody there. I'm assuming there's somebody in that department that does. All right, we'll call for the question, and we'll get to the exceptions following the vote. All in favor of the consent agenda is presented. It's approved on a 7-0 vote. Thank you. Is that you again, Mr. Shoemaker?
Not I.
Okay, all right. Are there any exceptions, Mr. Lawrence?
You.
You. Mr. Guines?
None.
Ms. Newman? Mr. McGilvery?
None.
Mr. Glavin?
I have none.
Mr. Shoemaker? And I have none. Okay. That brings us to code enforcement hearings. Mr. Creel? All right, we'll open the first one, ACL Inc., 215 Michaels Industrial Boulevard. Is there anyone, is that being cleared?
The property is still in violation.
Okay. Is there anyone here to speak on that parcel, ACL Inc.? That's parcel 1510E-02-001.000. Anyone here to speak on that parcel? There being no one, that hearing is closed. The next one, item B, Mr. Creel.
Item B, Neanne Cooper, 182 Althea Street. That case has been resolved. Item C, Neanne Cooper, 1891 Greater Avenue. This property is still in violation.
Is Neanne Cooper or anyone representing 1891 Greater Avenue here to address this matter, to speak on this matter? There being no one, this hearing is closed.
Item D, Gulf Shore Hospitality, Inc., 950 Beach Boulevard. That case has been resolved. Item E, Paul Hill, 221 Holly Street. This property is still in violation.
Is Paul here or Paul Hill present, or is someone representing Mr. Hill or here to speak on 221 Holly Street? There being no one, this hearing is closed.
Item F, Jack D. Vincent Jr., 376 Mayo. That case has been resolved.
Okay, and that's all we have for today. Thank you, Mr. Creel. I'll just make a quick observation. It seems like we're getting more of these resolved over the years than we used to get, so that's a testament to your staff and your department. Thank you, sir. That brings us to the routine agenda. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
By Mr. Lawrence.
I'll second.
All right.
It's a routine Walt agenda.
Walt is here.
There he is. We're going to change that from routine to Walt.
We could. This is the Walt agenda.
That's right.
Good evening, council.
Good evening.
Last time we spoke, we talked about MEMA had 1.054 million waiting in the queue. Thanks to our chief admin officer, Mike Leonard, reaching out to the head of MEMA. He asked for money to get pushed into our system, and the next day it popped up. So we received 1.054 million from MEMA on Wednesday, March 5th. And currently we have 1.242 million That's in step 3 of 5. That's the GAR approval, the governor's authorized representative approval. We'll probably have that by the end of the month, probably the last council meeting, hopefully.
So we right up to snuff with everything.
Yes, sir. Thanks to our chief admin officer and working well with our MEMA and Horn Group partners in Jackson.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions on the routine agenda? I just have one item. I noticed that under section 2, we have 2 parcels listed. One of those was the one that I believe we disposed of at the last council meeting because the folks who owned the owner of the property on Pass Road had sold the property. And do we need to, I don't see Mr. Abide here, do we need to do anything? Do we need to remove this at this point, since we closed the matter last time? Right, okay. Carrie, do we need a motion to? Okay. All right. So I'll make a motion to amend the routine agenda to remove item A under section 2.
I'll second it.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, so we're removing both the references to this parcel. So there's I made the motion, and the second was by Mr. Lawrence. Any discussion? All in favor? It's approved on a 7-0 vote. Thank you. All right, all in favor of approving the amended routine agenda as presented? That's approved on a 7-0 vote. Thank you. That brings us to a motion to adjourn by Mr. McGilvery.
I'll second that.
All right, by Mr. Lawrence. Any discussion? All in favor?
One discussion, when we close, we're gonna have a toddy. And out of the Irish people.
We already voted.
Oh, this was after the meeting.
All right,
That was
so
gonna be after the
we have
meeting.
adjourned. I do want to remind everybody present that our next meeting is next Tuesday, March 18th. That's at 1:30, a workshop to follow. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're adjourned.